Hey you, yeah you, listen. We have a smorgasbord of new tailors for 2022. We're going to tell you all about them, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our Teespring store link below for our custom designed t-shirts that neither of us are wearing today. You look like Don Johnson from like Miami Vice in a very good way.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
So we have some great new tailors, surprising tailors to tell you about today. So launching today are 4 new models in the lineup. One of them is a limited model that Cooper has, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about. And then I have in my hot little hands probably one of the most surprising tailors I have ever seen. Surprising acoustic guitars, really, that just seems to go against every standard of like expectation that I've ever had, or every bit of knowledge I've ever had about acoustic guitars. So Andy Powers, like, what's up? We're going to talk a little bit about it. Let's start with the one that you have. I know you're really excited about it, and it is a limited model. So if you're watching this, that means there's only so many. So yeah, keep that in mind.
And it's not so many.
And there's not so many of them. There's so many of them, and there aren't very many of them.
It's not very many.
I believe it was 200 or less that they built, period.
Which is wild.
Worldwide.
So the thing is, one of my favorite tailors is the 618. I love the 818 too. And you know, they're both amazing. They're both huge. This is a GT611.
Yeah.
So it's got all the appointments basically of that guitar that I love. And you know, it's not like a GS Mini 611, you know, so it's not a Grand Symphony,
right?
Really. Grand Theater body.
Which is a shrunken down Geo body.
Little Geo, dude.
It's a little Geo.
It's an Ibanez Geo, I think, actually. So it takes those things that I love. It's that kind of big belly acoustic guitar, shrunken down to the GT size, of course. Beautiful maple. I mean, look at that. It's pretty insane.
The vintage edge burst.
Yeah, and just the wildest flame, maple back and sides, spruce top with that nice antique. What's that called? Vintage.
It's like an antique natural edge burst. Yeah,
a really nice edge burst. And you know, part of why we love the 618 and the 818 is the Mission inlay.
The Alamo inlays. They call them Mission inlays.
We know the scoop.
You know, they should call them what was officially like Mission de San Antonio de Bear.
Yeah,
is the Alamo actual name? So
de Bears. But yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful look on the guitar, and I like the GTs. I mean, the 811, the K21, and the regular Urban Ash. Already, this is my favorite GT that's come out. I mean, it's like, it feels so great. It's got the maple neck. Just such a cool thing that they did. And I like, it was like with the 811, they took the 800 series, you know, adornments, they put it on that guitar. This being like one of my favorite looks, it's like the perfect little thing for me, you know. I really like it.
It's absolutely beautiful. And I love some of the things that they're doing on the 618 and on this, where they have that vintage tint, that vintage natural finish, and then they bind it with natural maple. That it's just so classy.
And then that, what would you call that? That black?
I think it's ebony purfling.
The purfling, yeah.
I mean, on the top,
stand out.
It's Koa and ebony that purfles the top border of the guitar. You've got this ebony fingerboard and bridge and pick guard, and then this beautiful Koa and Ivoroid, I think it is in there, or maple, and then the abalone. It's absolutely beautiful. I also love how they do the inlays. They could have just done mother of pearl, shape of the Alamo Mission, and then called it a day. But framing it like they do is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, you don't know this, but the reason that this is a limited model is they were actually all 618s, and they left them in the torify chamber, and they shrunk.
Boo.
That's my story.
I think I heard that one,
I'm sticking to it. But I mean, it does. It looks like you left a 618 in the dryer, and when you pulled it out, it didn't fit you anymore. Yeah. But no, it's an absolutely gorgeous guitar, and it sounds really great. So we're doing an introduction here. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing more in-depth reviews of the guitars and comparisons that we're talking about today. But one of the things I'll tell you before we even get to the demo, because you got, like, I want ears perked up. Yeah. When we record this guitar, it's so warm.
Yeah.
And Josh was surprised, weren't you, Josh?
He's
was
nodding
like,
back there.
he was like, what? Why is it so warm? And it's because of the scale length. Because of the scale length of the GT guitars, it brings all those harmonics and squishes them together. And then the bracing on this, like Andy Powers has done with other maple things, are designed to bring out the warmth of maple rather than the brightness people have typically associated it with. So it's got this C bracing, this cantilevered, asymmetrical bracing from the GTs, but the back bracing is like the V-Class where it doesn't reach the sides. It's angled, and the bracing doesn't intersect with the kerfling on the back of the guitar, and that allows it to move so much. And so, yeah, it sounds amazing, and it plays great with that short scale, and it looks awesome.
Neck finish is just awesome too. I mean, like, there's only so much you can hear it, but the feel of it is great too. But yeah.
So I also have a maple guitar, and that's shocking in how this is made. I have a new American Dream edition. This is the AD27e Flametop. Yeah, so it's flamed maple, top, back, and sides with a maple neck. This is a maple guitar. Now, they could have done maple bridge and fingerboard. This is ebony, though, which is basically maple dark, in my opinion. But I was shocked. So when I first heard about this, our wonderful rep, JR, was like, we're doing a maple-topped guitar. I was like, no way. Because I've actually said on this channel before for people shopping for guitars, look, if you see a guitar and it's got like flamed or quilted maple, that's a laminate top. Yeah. Just know, because nobody uses maple on the top of an acoustic guitar. It's too dense. It doesn't move enough. It doesn't work. You wouldn't get any volume. You wouldn't get any sound. Well, turns out,
I've done it again.
Yeah, you can make a all solid maple acoustic guitar, and it sounds good. And I'm just, I don't know what I know at this point. It's shocking. So, all maple construction. It's got this wonderful reveal binding, which is the opposite of how most of the American Dreams are, right? Most of the American Dreams have a stained binding. This is kind of how PRS does their tops, it's cool. Just not stain that to have this reveal binding on it. It's a really beautiful top. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but like, this is nicer than some Les Pauls and stuff that come. It's really nice flame. It's got this wonderful, I think they call it a wood roast.
Dusky?
Yeah, it was a dusky wood smoke.
The dusty boot.
It's a dusky wood smoke finish with an edge burst treatment. And yeah, they describe it aesthetically looking as like an old pair of boots. And I have a pair of Justin boots that look pretty much like this, or old jeans. Like, it's got a old Western Americana aesthetic going on with it.
And sound.
So it looks like what it sounds like, which is
awesome.
Which is incredible.
Nice to see. Yeah.
So understated, features otherwise as far as the aesthetics. You've got the ebony and maple ring rosette. You've got just basic dot inlays. It is ebony fingerboard and bridge, not eucalyptus like the rest of the American Dream series. And I already mentioned it's got the maple neck with that sunburst finish going on as well. It's just a killer looking guitar. It's priced right as American Dream. And the sound is
really impressive.
It's really, really nice. It's designed, to really kind of go with Americana type music. The strum is huge. From being maple, you've got kind of a muting going on a little bit with the frequencies. So they've used, I think it's a very smart move, nickel bronze D'Addario strings uncoated on this guitar, very similar to like the Martin Retro strings. And so you've got a dry sound, but with a ton of resonance and a ton of sustain on this guitar. It's killer.
It's every once in a while, I'm always like, man, I go see guitars every day. I'm past the point of like, kid in a candy store kind of thing. Right. And then we get these two in. I'm like, I can't even decide. I would take either of those. Right. I do think that if they switched up some of the appointments, they could call that the 627, and
we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing. I know of one other Taylor and one other guitar, actually, that's ever had a solid maple top. And our friends at Music Villa had it made years ago as a custom thing. And Taylor initially wouldn't do it. Like they had to fight to have it made. And I never got to play that guitar. I heard it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was very expensive because Taylor didn't want to do it. It's like, okay, you want to pay this, we'll do it. And so it's just subverting the expectations. And very, very cool. This
Game
is
of Thrones style.
Yeah, in a good way though. This is probably probably one of the coolest guitars I've seen for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But that's not all we've got. Let's show you the other things.
Switch it up.
We've got more GTs coming your way. Look at this.
Over here, I got the 0015M.
Shh. There's a lawyer on the phone now.
Yeah.
So you've got a new GTe Mahogany.
Yeah.
And I've got a new GTe Blacktop.
Yeah.
So continuing with some of what Taylor's done in the American Dream line, but with the GT series, these are priced around and very similar in appointments to the normal GT Urban Ash models, but a little bit different. So you want to run down yours first?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the all mahogany. And is this mahogany? Or
No,
is it, we got Sapele back and sides? I mean, the GTs, to me, are kind of like, obviously, they're the step up from the GS Mini. And it's so nice to have different flavors now. I mean, I love the 811 and, like I said, the K21. But more of a
at that
accessible
price range.
kind of thing, being a totally different voice than the Urban Ash. And, now, of course, from the 611 too. I love the AD27e. I mean, it's awesome. And so it's cool. You got the American Dream, you got the GT, and now you got this all mahogany version, which is a sound that we love. We've talked about it so much. We did our 0015M versus the AD22. All mahogany is just a beautiful, warm, special sound. Now it's in this smaller body. Same thing with the scale length. It's going to add that warmth and that depth. It's just very, very cool.
And Josh and I agree. This is probably the best guitar of the bunch to record with.
Yeah.
Because the mahogany controls all of those dynamics and creates such a warm sound that it's very easy to record. You can record with any of these, but if you want something that's kind of like set it and forget it, you don't have to mess with compression a whole lot or EQ a whole lot. This guitar is that in spades.
Do you think if you did put the same kind of strings that are on the 27 Flametop on here, like Monel or something like that, it's just like you get lost in a sea of warmth, or like what's the scoop?
I think that it would pair very nicely. What's interesting about the Flametop that we're just looking at is I like all mahogany guitars and even spruce top mahogany back and sides. I think those kind of nickel bronze type strings or Monel strings just work. I don't really like them on rosewood, but I think they complement that dry mid-range sound from mahogany, whether it's spruce or mahogany top. And that's what kind of surprised me on the AD27e Flametop is it's like more mahogany than mahogany.
Yeah.
The warmth of it was incredible. And I think it's actually a little bit broader. It's not quite as tight of a mid-range. It's this real broad mid-range. But yeah, I think putting, those on that guitar would sound fantastic.
So when I pulled this out, I made the joke. I said 0015M. I said that it was in my mind today because we did get a comment on our channel of a video that we did 0015M versus the AD22e.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I'll present a third option. The 0015M, it's a finger picker's dream.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what a crazy, uncanny timing, because this probably is like the finger picker's dream of a guitar.
I really enjoyed playing it, both with a flat pick and finger picking it. It's got all of that warmth that you want, and the short scale length, like we talked about with the 611, really brings a lot of those harmonies out and feels so nice on your fretting hand, bending strings and just kind of doing runs. I think that's one of the reasons you like that 611 so much.
Yeah.
It's just the scale
so
is
easy.
really, really fun. Yeah. So you've got a completely different sound than the Urban Ash. By the way, on the strings topic, I would also put those strings on the normal Urban Ash because I think Urban Ash sounds like really, really good mahogany.
Yeah.
And so it works really well there too. But I've also got another completely new flavor. It is the GTe Blacktop. But unlike on the American Dream series, this isn't just a black version of, the GT. It has different tone woods. So this is walnut back and sides. And walnut is actually one of my favorite tone woods. Taylor used to have a walnut series back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and used walnut as top, back and sides, or just back and sides paired with spruce or with cedar. And it's got a fantastic tone. It's a lot like maple and mahogany met, and so it's got some of that warm mid-range, but it's a little tighter, and there's a nice treble response to it. And that's what you get out of this guitar. So it's spruce, just like the normal GTe and GT Urban Ash, but that blacktop combo with the walnut gives you a little bit of a brighter sound out of it. Cool. It's a really cool aesthetic for one thing. And it's a great tonal variation compared to now around the same price range. We've got the GT Urban Ash, the GT Mahogany. Now we should say, as far as I know, the GT Urban Ash is the only one that's available with or without a pickup. And then the Mahogany is GTe and the Blacktop's GTe. And very similar appointments here, just the dot inlays. In fact, grab that GT Urban Ash we used as a comparison. And you can see that the aesthetics are a little bit different. So this one's got this kind of split diamond fretboard aesthetic going on with it. And if you want to compare the back and sides of walnut to Urban Ash, there you go. It's a little bit darker. Of course, I think they're doing
like a
stain on it. And so, sienna is something I don't remember. But they're just beautiful woods, great aesthetics. They're doing reveal binding on there because it's blacked out.
That's cool.
Otherwise, you've got the stain binding like on this one. And just great little guitars. So I'm excited. I like Taylor expanding the whole GT line. And we've done a basic rundown through some of these. So right here at the introduction, you can hear what they sound like. So put on your ears, take a listen, and prepare to be surprised and delighted. So there you have it. We have a great introduction of new Taylor models here for 2022. And, you know, I just love this guitar. I have fallen in love with this guitar so quickly and really want one. I should say, Josh reminded me, he believes that this guitar has the aesthetic of a 1980s or late 70s ashtray. In a good way, not in a bad way. But do you remember those? Like you're too young to remember them. They were like these brown glass ashtrays.
Like back when Jim's had a smoking
Back
section.
when Jim's diner in San Antonio had a smoking section.
Yeah.
Some of them still do. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish.
So yeah, it's definitely got that kind of aesthetic going on with it, and I love it. And I love the sound. And this might be a new guitar for me pretty soon.
I'll be honest, when we got an email from JR, said, check out these new models. Chris and I were talking about them, and Chris was like, all maple? Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And very rarely is Chris like hesitant about just accepting a new Taylor. He was hesitant on this one, and then I walked in, he was playing it, and he's like, dude, check this out. It's awesome. It's super cool.
It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah. No, but it's a great guitar, and now everybody's going to want them to put solid maple tops on all these new guitars, and it's going to be a new trend, dude.
Could be. I mean, it's never going to give you that brilliance of spruce, but for what you want, this sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And it looks killer. I like it. I like it a lot. And I love that limited GT611e. It is limited. And so, you know, act fast, because that's a beautiful little guitar. All of these are great additions to the lineup. And as I said before, you want to make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to be doing further rundowns and comparisons with these, so you can really get an ear for how they compare throughout the lineup, like pitting this against an AD17 and the AD27 that's not a flame top, so you can really hear the differences for yourself. So very cool. Lots of cool stuff coming from Taylor. I love that they're introducing new stuff at all with the challenges that we've been facing for the last 2 years now at this point. And continually surprising us. So keep doing it, Andy and Taylor. And we're just, the best guitar in the world is right now this one, to me.
611, dude.
611?
It's gotta be a 611. Yeah. I'm not holding it because then I'd want it more.
Yeah. So tell us your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought about each guitar. Or were you surprised by how good maple topped guitar can sound? And like I said, if you're not subscribed, so you know about or get notifications of all of the additional videos we'll be doing on these guitars. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.